Hello everyone and welcome to the FIA Manufacturers Cup round number 3 in 2019, season 2 of course. Obviously the official season going on in Nations Cup, but here we are with round 3. So where's round 1 and 2? Well, up in the top right hand corner you will see round number 1 there. I suggest you go watch the live stream of that. Obviously my computer decided to go a bit nuts, so unfortunately on that live stream the audio wasn't set up quite correctly, so I couldn't do any highlights of it, even though it's a cracking watch as you see there. Big accident there in that one. And of course as well we had round 2 at Group 3 at Autopolis. So again, if you want to go and watch that, you can see me there chasing down Sutsu. Make sure you go check that out. They're both in the description box below. But it is now all about Interlagos round 3. Once again in the Group 3 car, so we're in the Audi R8. Not bad. See, my teammate Matty has a penalty. So at first, of course, oh by the way, check out the stream for this below as well. But yeah, we're coming up this hill. I'm wondering what is Matty going to do? Is he helping me out there, or is he going to try and go for a lap irrespective of the penalty? So here we get a nice little bit of slipstream as we head towards the line. We keep going, we keep going, we keep going, we keep going, we keep going. We're going to head towards the right. Matty brakes for me. Thank you very much, Matty, for that bit of slipstream. As now we come into the first corner. Just running a little bit wide there, not too massive. Got to avoid cutting that right-hand side of the centre S completely because literally penalty hell with the amount there. As you can see, we're slightly off in the top left-hand side. We've got 4 attempts to try and catch up, so we'll see what we can do as we head down towards the end of Sector 1. You can see we're purple there. 0.06 up on Force UAB. Let's see what happens in Sector 2. Wasn't the greatest Sector 1, I'd say. I ran a little bit wide, but obviously we had a little bit of slipstream there, so that's what counteracted each other. As we now come into Sector 2, we try and get this right. Done very nicely. Just had to come off the throttle a little bit there. Cost us a little bit of time into the braking zone. We don't quite cut this corner as much as we can. We can cut it a little bit more than that, which would have helped us. But even so, around this left now, and we do get that done very nicely. Nearly ran out too wide there for a penalty, but all good as we come into this right-hander. Just clip the curb perfectly there. Get a very good line, very good exit as we now head down the left and through. There we go. Look at that, flat out. You don't see that very often. And we're 3 tenths up on that purple time. 3 tenths. Unbelievable. As we now head up the hill. What are we going to get? Are we on for a 30.8? Well, I can tell you now that Force UAB did have a slipstream on his lap, as you're about to see. So let's see where we actually do come as we head towards the line now. 3 tenths up on that purple time of a 30.8. What do we get? It's a 30.7. We are just in there by a tenth. So we got a good run out the last corner, only losing 2 tenths in the slipstream. And Williams Fuveros, look at that, 0.015 behind me. How close is that? Unbelievable stuff here as we now head towards the grid. So you can see there, I did not lose pole position. Really happy with this. A few guys have already done a couple of races. This was my first race basically. As you can see, pole position in that epic livery. We've got Williams Fuveros in second. Force UAB in third, doing very well in that AMG. The Mercedes really bringing themselves up here. Belling in fourth with the Dodge Vibe. That's a really good result. Calston in fifth. That Lamborghini, an absolute rocket on the straights. Matty in 6th place, followed by GT Alex in 7th. You see it's quite a stacked grid with RC Snake in 8th position. 9th is Skippy. It's good to see Skippy back in the racing action. Firestorm in P10. Jomas in P11 in that Ferrari 458 Italia. P12, GTA Matty there in the Aston Martin, going to struggle in the inner section. IA Racing P13, TTR Benson P14 in the Toyota Supra there. PP Doffra P15, Nissan GTR, Papupku P16, P17 IRT Nisman in a good livery there. Ask Mef P18, Sutsu P19, that's the big story of the qualifying. Sutsu in P19, a lot of work to do for Sutsu. I expect him to be well up there, but obviously just had a bad quali session. So lots for him to do, lots for me to think about as we head towards the start of this race. Of course, this is the highlights, as I said earlier. The live stream is in the description, but here we go. We kick off this race, round number 3 at Interlagos, as we now head towards the left-hander. Broke a little bit early there, but better to be safe than sorry. Don't want to run wide and lose a load of positions. Through there we go. Nearly ran a bit wide there on the exit of the centre S as well, as we continue around the left-hander and onto this straight here. Instantly to the left, trying to avoid that slipstream. Straight away I'm thinking, okay, Fuveros has gone for that slipstream. Does this mean he's on a 0 or 1 stopper? So here's a little bit of a interesting question. This race was kind of good. Potentially it should have been maybe times 1 more tyre wear. But yeah, it was a mix between a 1-stopper and a non-stopper between different cars. Now I had tried a non-stopper in a practice race. Couldn't do it. The LSD was spinning up the right rear too much. and it was causing a lot of issues, obviously, later on in the stint. So I knew I was one stop in. Now, the Porsche 911 was borderline, real borderline. And obviously, there's a few other cars that were borderline as well. The AMG as well, a couple of other cars, of course. Lexus is always good on its tyres. So at this point, I'm thinking, I want to get away as fast as I can. Now, if Foveros stays with me, I'm thinking, okay, he's on a one-stop as well. I've got to fight for this victory. If he is just like literally backing off a little bit, protecting his tyres, then I'm thinking, okay, he's on for his non-stop. If I just accelerate away, hopefully I can then have the fight at the end of the race. But of course, Foveros is just using my slipstream here at this moment in time. So we're half a second ahead. So at this point, I don't have to defend as much. I can go and take my racing line on the right hand side as now we head towards the first corner. Go for our braking point. If you don't know where we're braking there, we use the pit boxes on the left hand side. Lots of different colours there. Pick out the one you want. We're using the red one in this instance. And yeah, perfect braking spot for me, and it's never going to change. So happy days with that one as we accelerate through that corner. I can't even speak now. And head towards the end of sector 1. But you know, we're at a nice gap here. So let's accelerate a little bit further in the lap now. So you can see Foveros is 3.5 tenths now, so much closer than he was before. So I'm going to have to defend him a little bit. Look at that now, down to 2 tenths. As we head now down towards that 1 tenth, we're going to have to stay defensive here, staying sort of in the middle of the road. Foveros goes to the right hand side. We brake lovely for this corner, so we do keep that position for now. Through the right hand, there we go. Foveros just 4 tenths behind me. A lot of pressure, of course, with Patrick there. We have built a little bit of a gap towards 3rd place. Belling and Force UAB having a bit of a battle there. You can see that in the top right-hand side of your screen there with a replay camera as we now come into the left-hander. The whole point here is just to try and be as stable as I can with this R8. Try and maintain my position just so that in the next stint I can at least you know, push hard, hopefully go for the victory. If Foveros comes in at this point, I'm not sure what he's going to do. If he comes in, I'm ahead. If he stays out, then I've stayed ahead. He's not accelerated away, which potentially he could do later on in the stint because he's in the Porsche. Slightly better tyre wear. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts here. So, as long as I push hard, I know I'm racing good times. And a 31.1 second lap is a pretty good time, to be fair. So, just go down this left-hander now. We're going to accelerate a little bit further on because we've got a gap there of half a second. That's more than enough for the straight, as we saw earlier on. So, lap later, same place. You can see Foveros is much closer now. 4 tenths. Now, this gap is going to shrink rapidly in this slipstream as well. So, we come around this left-hander, now down to 3.5 tenths. 3 tenths. 2.5 tenths. So, you know we're going to go defensive here. So, we stay to the left. Foveros goes to the right. So at this point, I should have picked up on the fact that Foveros went to the right quite early there. Going for a very normal line, getting that bit of slipstream that he wanted, just to make sure he stays, you know, with the pace. He's actually getting a better pace out of a non-stop strategy. The fact that I'm ahead of him, I should have picked up on that. And as you see in the top right corner, we are miles ahead of 3rd position at the moment. So we're doing a good job there. And I think Belling had a penalty there if we just look behind ourselves. But even so, we continue on all the same. See Foveros not really putting as much pressure on me now than he was before. So at this point I'm starting to realise he's going for the non-stop. Or potentially he's changed his strategy, knowing that I would have challenged it quite a lot, or knowing that I was going to go on the one-stop. Even so, we advance another lap later, lap number 6. You can see Foveros is 2 tenths behind me. So at this point, obviously I'm coming in the pit, so I'm not going to fight this as much. I think Foveros was thinking the same thing. You know, I'm not going to fight him, I'll just let him go in the pits, and then happy days, he can go on to try and get the race victory, unless I come back, of course. But that's why I'm sort of trying to stay here. Coming to this right-hander now. You can see how much the Porsche is gaining now. The tyres on the Audi really struggling. You can see that in the bottom left-hand side. That right rear tyre really worn down now as we accelerate towards the left-hander. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, you're about to see me whack on my hazards. This just lets Foveros know I'm coming in the pits. You know, for him not to follow me in, potentially, if that's what he's going to do. And you know, it's also a bit of a thank you because while we had a good battle, he's obviously raced very smart there. I've actually helped him along a little bit, potentially not in the last lap, but the lap before we did. A few other cars coming in, Matty coming in. So, you know, a lot of guys coming in for the one-stop. I'd say very mixed between the grid, one-stop and non-stop. Very close. Potentially with the traffic, the non-stop is slightly quicker. But I'd say it depends who comes in and who doesn't. So as you see, we come out in 10th position. So we have 9 cars at the moment in front of us who are going to be on the non-stop, as far as I'm concerned. It potentially could come in at the end of lap 7 because it's an odd number. Lap 6, lap 7, that's when you're sort of going to see the pit stops. Who knows? But at this moment in time, I'm thinking, right, I've got a lot of cars to overtake here. A lot of cars. So let's see what happens. Obviously, we're going to get a little bit exciting now with a lot more overtakes and action happening in this second half of the race. We had defensive driving in the first half, attacking in the second half. So you can see we're catching up to Firestorm and Doffra very quickly here. So just keep an eye on Firestorm up ahead. So we accelerate out this corner in the FT1, so obviously he could be very good on tyres, but he makes a fatal mistake at the corner. Everybody's done that mistake. Slightly clips the left rear tyre there, and that caused him to lose the rear end. So upper position straight away. That was kind of nice and easy for me. Unlucky for Firestorm though. Doffra interestingly just backs way out of it. I mean, thank you very much, Doffra. Very much appreciated. I'm not sure if that was just a bit of an apology for the qualifying ages ago. Oh, round 2. Go watch the live stream if you haven't already, as I say. But yeah, thank you. You didn't have to do that. Now, you're going to see one of the smartest let-bys I have seen in GT Sport in a very long time. Watch this man. He knows I'm on the fresher tyres. He's on a non-stop. I'm on a one-stop. Got loads of laps left. He just goes to the outside. He's going to lose such little time by doing that. It is ridiculously smart driving. Remember, try and race smarter in a lot of cases, guys. Look, there's 4 laps to go. I'm on the fresher tyres. I'm going to get past this man. This man knows this. He'd have to defend for his life on much worn tyres. It's not going to work out. Unbelievable driving there by this man. So big shout out to this man. Obviously, we're getting into the thick of the action now. A couple of people, I think pits, one person might have done. Don't quote me on that though. But we continue on all the same now. As we head towards this left-hander. You see Pop-Up Q up ahead in the AMG, which is going to be slightly stronger than the Lamborghini. Lamborghini suffers a little bit more than the Audi, to be honest. So I was surprised to see the Lamborghini stay out with that right rear tyre. It's been up a little bit more, which is why it's a little bit more sketchy than the R8. And it's also why the Porsche is a little bit less sketchy, because it doesn't spin it up as much. Therefore, it can save its tyres a little bit more. So we've got this battle with Pupumku and Skippy coming up. You can see Sutsu there as well, from P19 on the grid up to P4. What a race Sutsu's having. Very well played, mate. So we're coming up to this hill now, and I was thinking about going for the move, but then I see Pupumku goes for the same sort of move. So we have to back out of it, really slow down. It cost us quite a bit of time, that did. You should see that potentially drop on the left. Who knows? But anyway, we continue on all the same. So now we're coming up to this left-hander, and Skippy was my worry here. That Lamborghini is a rocket ship, an absolute rocket ship on this straight. So you can see now I'm going to go to the left of this AMG, but Pupupku's in the slipstream, so I can't actually do anything about it because Skippy is sort of pulling him along a bit. I was hoping Skippy would move to the left and let me have it, but even so, you can see now we're trying to keep up with this AMG. AMG very strong. It's stronger than I remember in the straight line. So then I potentially could have gone for it here in the braking zone, but the potential of contact is very high, and I race clean, so I backed out of it a little bit here. So I was thinking about going around the outside here. This is a bad decision by me, because I didn't realise the Lamborghini understeered so much when its tyres were that worn. So I had to sort of back out of it. Slightly touch Skippy there, nothing major. We didn't even get SR down, I don't think. As we continue on towards the left-hander now. And I tried to scare Skippy into just making a little mistake there. He gave me loads of room on the left, so I'm thinking, okay, I'll have this. Thank you very much, Skippy. Got a lot more grip, so I can accelerate a lot quicker than Skippy can, and through I go into P6. Pop-Up Q obviously next on the list again, but you can see Sutsu and Bellin up ahead now. So we're in the top 6, we're catching up slowly but surely to these front guys. We're still 13 seconds off Fuvaros though, which is highly unlikely that we'll catch in 2.5 laps. So I did try and go for the move there. That cost me a little bit of time. So I had to just back out of it a little bit, and I am trying to make a move on Pupumku. Pupumku obviously feels like he can defend this position at this point with only 2 laps to go at the end of this one. AMG being good on its tyres, being a quite stable car as well. If you can defend it by all means. You're racing for position at the end of the day. But I am going to look for a way past at some point. You see Pupumku just gets the rear out a little bit there, try and go down the left-hand side. Going to have to pull back in once again with that slipstream. That AMG really pulling along very nicely, and Belling up ahead struggling in that Viper. Viper struggling on speed. Who knew? Who knew? But even so, we can continue on. Now look at this. We get a bit cheeky here, we just nudge Pupumku over a bit because we're like, there's enough of a gap there, let me through. And we do the Moses maneuver once again into here, and we get the braking absolutely spot on, nail the braking zone perfectly. Through 2 positions, past Belling, past Pupumku. Happy days, just Sutsu left now. And then we've got a big old charge to force UAB and Fuvaros. So we continue on now towards this left-hander. What's going to happen? Nothing so far. But Sutsu P19 to P3 at this moment. How awesome is that? Big shout out to Sutsu. So a lot of grip here. in the car by myself. So Tsutsu just gives that up straight away, doesn't want to lose much time. Again, very smart driving. He's had a cracking race there. P19 to P4. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that in a top split lobby? How awesome's that? But as you can see, we're 7.5 seconds off Force UAB. Now, 7.5 seconds in a lap. It's very extreme to catch up, let's put it that way. Even with the difference in tyre wear at this point, it's going to be 3 or 4 seconds. So it's highly unlikely unless Force UAB makes an error. But we did get up to P3, and I do feel like, even looking back on this race now, I couldn't have done much more in the Audi. If I'd have non-stopped it, yeah, okay, I might have, Fudros would have gone past me fairly straight away, to be honest. He'd have had a much better run, and I'd have been in the battle with UAB and Bellin, and there is very much that big potential that UAB would have kept that position anyway, and I would be in this situation of being in P3. So, in my mind, I actually think this is actually the best result I could have got in the Audi R8 at this track. As I say, the right rear tyre does spin its wheels up a little bit, so yeah, I just think that this, like, overtaking cars, you know, when drivers are driving really smart, we got, well, Firestone made a mistake, Doffra let off completely. I mean, thank you, Doffra, you didn't have to do that. Nixman with a really smart let by. We had a bit of a battle with Skippy, Pumpku, and Bellin, and Tsutsu let us go as well. You know, clean racing, so it was good racing. I don't think I could have done better in another race. That was on my mind. Should I or shouldn't I do another race? You can see that gap has dropped down to 5 seconds. We'll see what it is by the end of the race as well. You already know I'm not going to catch him, let's be honest. So I'm actually really happy with this. It did put us into P3 at the time in the Manufacturers' Cup, which is nice. You know, Audi P3, who would have thought it? Its tyre wear is a little bit worse than the other cars. You know, is it one of the OP cars in time trial? Yes, it is. But we picked this before all the OP-ness of time trial. In the race, I don't think it's that OP in the grand scheme of it. I think it's a bit too sketchy on its tyres. I think it's a strong car. There's definitely weaker cars out there, especially in the FR category now. But in terms of being the strongest, I still think the Porsche is up there. AMG being up there as well. I think the AMG has got a cracking little setup where it can do one-stop, non-stop, do all sorts with it. As you see, that gap now down to 3.4 seconds. I'm relatively happy with this result. I'll say that goes P3 in the Manufacturers' Cup. So, I'll say, I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, we're back with the videos. Finally, now my computer's up and running again. Be prepared for more highlights videos in the future. Speaking of videos, there's a video if you want to watch another one there. My logo's there if you want to subscribe. But that's it for me for now. Thanks very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.